Good day to you, brothers and sisters. I do hope wherever you are within this magical kingdom, all is well with you and yours. On this day, we're going to try a new process. This process right here is me taking it upon myself to welcome you in the deeper parts of the infinite waters that is consciousness. Being that there are different levels to this shit, let's see, you have some people that are still on the shore. You guys, it's time to get your feet wet, I hope. And you guys that do have your feet wet, I welcome you to come deeper and allow more parts of your body to become submerged within the infinite waters that is consciousness. See, honestly, that's the reason why I feel these messages are inspired through this vessel. The primary goal is to ultimately expand the consciousness of man. That's the primary goal. Get them to see that there are things existing within his world. There are methods, there are perceptions, there are wisdom and knowledge and understanding that he has not come close to digesting within himself. There are datas, there are entities, there are beings within his world that he can yet fathom with his limited understanding on this grand scope of life. And so you come across people or beings such as myself, and there are many, many more just like me within this world currently, placed in different locations, of course, serving to but guide the souls that are ready to a more broader way of looking at life, to a more broader way of looking at themselves, to a more broader way of thinking, to a more broader way of being and self expressing. See, I'm aware that my thoughts provoking insights are contrary to everything man has been conditioned to accept as true. And as I've always said, the goal is not to challenge what you hold sacred and near to your heart. That is not the goal. The goal is not to place within your reality, place within your being more and more fear. You're consumed by fear. What would be the point of adding on to your burden in that category? The goal is but to help guide you out of that state of fear that limits your brain and its function. that limits your thinking capacity to this slave-like mindset, to this slave-like way of seeing life. The goal is to expand your awareness. The goal is to bring you peace. The goal is to set you free. The goal is to guide you back home. And as if you have been with me for a while, you know the home that I'm referring to is not a place, it's not a person, it's not a thing. The home that we have long been referring to is back home to you yourself. And so with that said, here and now I offer this thought-provoking insight onto you. Not everything is going to be meant for the viewer specifically. As I've said, being that the infinite waters of consciousness consist of infinite dimensions, we're all perceiving life at different level of consciousness. Another way to look at this, imagine a tall building, a skyscraper that has many floors, different windows. If hypothetically you had a different individual or a human staring out at each one of those levels staring out at each one of those windows at different levels, I believe we could both agree that the perception on life is going to differ, because the person looking out the window at a lower level is not going to be able to perceive the same things as the person looking out the window at a higher level. Do you agree? I do hope so. And if you do not agree, feel free to disagree. It's all good. The point here is not to get you to agree. Again, we are just having a dialogue. A dialogue, I hope, just simply either a dialogue, I hope that just simply either gives you more data in order that you may create a life upon, or just gives you another perspective in order that you may perceive life. And so we begin. Brothers and sisters, this thought has been surfacing within my mind, and it's like we've all heard of the term guardian angels, yes? Yes. There are some strange phenomena that has taken place within this world where they were so strange that one cannot explain how did that happen? How did you survive that? How did you go through that? How were you so lucky? And a lot of us, we find ourselves saying, oh, my guardian angel is watching over me, or someone somewhere is watching over me. And so, hold that, but now let's bring it down to a more clearer perspective. By that, here's what I'm saying. This world has proven itself to be quite challenging. To every soul that touches down within this reality, to every soul that takes upon themselves a physical body in order that they may experience a physical world, they find that life is challenging. Life is filled with a lot of obstacles. Life is filled with despair. Life is, in and of itself, the greatest game one could ever play because it pushes you in ways that one cannot imagine. So, with this challenge, when a soul takes upon itself a vessel and comes into the reality, these challenges leads to many souls going against themselves, acting against themselves, betraying themselves, doing things that, looking back at their experiences from the spiritual realm, they say, damn, I can't believe I was capable of such acts, such choices. The way this thought has been playing in my mind is this right here. Let's say you, the soul in the physical body, I'm a soul in the physical body. I experience the physical world and I do a lot of interesting things. Things that my guardian angel is not necessarily judging, but the guardian is there to simply guide you to experiencing the life that you intended to experience. But being that when we come in the physical world, the the whole idea of separation and duality and all the chaos that the world is filled with leads us to getting off of the path and the intended direction and purpose of our life. And so when the soul now lives out that fullness of their life, making the wrong decisions and veering off the path that that they intended for themselves, they check out the body and go back up to the spiritual realm. And now in the spiritual realm, they are faced with their guardian angel that was placed to watch over them. And so they have the dialogue and say, well, the guardian angel now telling the soul, well, I was up here trying to guide you on your path, but you were too busy being afraid. You were too busy having hell of fun. You were too busy being distracted. Unfortunately, you couldn't receive any of my guidance, so you're going to have to go and do that shit again if you so choose. But now the soul is like, well, you, the guardian angel, are up here, okay? You are not within the physical realm. So you don't really understand the predicament that ones find themselves in that leads them to making the decisions, making the choices that they do that takes them off their intended path and purpose. You don't know what a nigga go through when he's in the physical vessel and faced with the trials, tribulations, and challenges that life throws at him. The soul says to the angel, if you was in my position, nigga, if you was in my position in the physical realm, having a physical body and faced with that very challenge that made me make the choice that took me off of my intended path and purpose, you will make the same decision as me. And so the angel says, really? So you're pretty much telling me that if I was in your position in the physical form, in the physical world, faced with that very situation, I would make the same choice? The soul says, yes, I believe you would. Because it's one thing to be out of the whole state of the physical world and sending the guiding message that you do. Oh, don't go that way. Oh, don't do that. Oh, go ahead. Um, get that information right there. You will need it down the line. Oh, stay true to who you are. When you're outside of the whole game of life, it's easy to say all these things. But now when you are embedded in the physical body and in life itself, undergoing these experiences, and you have to deal with the day-to-day challenges you're faced with, it becomes very hard for one to stay on the path that was intended for them. And so I make you this bet, the soul says to the angel. No, 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 the soul don't do that. The angel says to the soul, I'll make you this bet. I bet you that I can enter into the physical world, excuse me, I can enter into the physical body, or better yet, let's phrase it this way: I can take upon myself a physical body, enter into the physical world, undergo the very same experiences that you have undergone, and stick to my path, stick to my intended path, stick to my intended purpose without wavering in the face of tribulation, without turning my gaze from that which is true, being surrounded by lies. I bet you I can do this, the angel says. And so the soul says, no. In fact, I would take your bet because I just came from that reality. I just dealt with all the hate, the hatred. I just dealt with all the despair. I just dealt with all the fear. I just dealt with all the separation. I just dealt with all the insecurities. I just dealt with all the negativity, nigga. I'm telling you, if you were in my position, faced with that very decision to do what I did, you would have done the same thing. So I take your bet. I accept your bet. Now, what are the condition of our bet? Or the soul says, what is what is our wager? The angel says, well, let's make the wager this. If I succeed in this challenge, if I win the bet, then you will have to accept that indeed you have the power, you have the willpower to play this game that is life and stick to your intended path and purpose. You have that will because I'm going to prove to you that you have the will within you to do what needs to be done, to do what you feel is right, to live a life that is worthy of you, to live the life that you intended to live. If I win, you have to accept that it is indeed possible and stop coming at me with the bullshit excuse that life is hard. If you was in my position, you would have made them fucked up decisions and choices. If you was in my position, you would have robbed that nigga. If you was in my position, you would have shot that nigga. If you was in my position, you would have fucked that nigga bitch. If you was in my position, you would have stolen. If you was in my position, you would have done all the fucked up shit that I did. You are going to have to stop coming to me with those excuses. The soul says, okay, if that's what you want, cool. But if I win the bet, you're going to have to accept that life is a magnificent chaos that leads the soul down a path to corruption. And that there's no way around that. You will have to accept that, angel, that indeed the game of life is unwinnable. The game of life is overwhelmingly chaotic. The angel smiles and says, deal. We will both do this bet. We will both accept this bet. And the winner simply proves to the other that it's possible or impossible. Now, here it is. Here is the other part of it. The angel says, we will both take our physical form and we will both enter into the world of physicality. We won't know each other because both our memories will be wiped clean. However, down our journey within the physical reality, our path is going to cross. Again, we will not know each other. And so forward the story, the angel takes upon himself a physical vessel and enters into the world of physicality. The soul takes upon himself a physical vessel as well, enter the physical reality. Years goes by, both of them not having the wisdom and knowledge of their true self. They're living life according to what they feel is right. But because the angel, to a certain degree, I guess is wired, should I say differently? And when I say differently, let me allude to the fact that the angel has played a game of life so many times that that's why the angel became a guardian, because now it has won or defeated the various fears and challenges that life offers. So even though it is in a physical form, even though the angel is in a physical form, the angel still has a leg up on the soul because it has played the game of life so many times. This is where many people hear the term old souls. When they come across some young child, this child moving like an old wise man, they always say, man, that's an old soul right there. What is that referring to? It just means that soul has been around the block for a very long time. I hope you're with me so far. So bring it back. So now the angel, being an old soul, knows how to maneuver within the reality faced with the various challenges that the soul and the angel discussed. And the soul is in whatever part of the region of the world that it is in. The angel is in this part. Ultimately, they reach the point where their path finally meet as they discuss. Again, they don't know each other. So now here they are together in the same environment. The soul, still being a young soul, not having played the game of life as frequently as the angel has, comes across the angel and looks upon the angel as his angel now. His or her angel now looks upon this angel as, what's going on here?